Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of All 22 Podcast. Glad to have you on. Today I have two returning guests. We have good old Noah Wright and Chris Miganelli, everyone's favorite Italian.
Hey.
And I brought these two on because there's a story. I've heard bits and pieces. We've talked about it a little on the 305 podcast, but it keeps coming back up, and I need to know the full story. So you just want to get right into it?
Yeah.
I just need to know.
Start with we go a little backstory of COVID. Been practicing. This is the fall of 2020. Been on and off with uppers. I don't know if we ever went full. I think we were in full. This was like the one full day I think we got of the year, and we didn't really hit much that COVID at all. So Aaron Goldberg, quarterback at the time, throws like a whole shot to JT
in the end zone.
No, it was
right at the goal line.
At the goal line, and
corner blitz.
Yeah, so corner came, safety rotates over, whole shot, JT catches it, gets popped, and we all kind of like, the offense was kind of like, oh, whoa, like, you know, everyone got pretty jumpy, pretty excited because we haven't seen that in a while. So we start chirping back and forth, and an individual player really takes it upon himself to try to go at Goldberg.
The quarterback that threw the ball.
Yes. And
keep in mind, Goldberg kind of, like, nobody got real chippy until Goldberg kind of went at the whole defense. And, like, as a quarterback, it's kind of a bad look because you can't get hit during practice, and they took that kind of personal, so things escalated from there.
Yeah. So, said player was removed. That was really getting into it with Goldberg.
One of our restrained.
Yeah, so one of our coaches brought him behind the bleachers. And so what I've heard described was the coach had felt that the player was pretty calm and was told he's cool, he's calm. And you know, like one of those, like, look in the sky and then run right past. Like, it was supposedly just like that. Like, look away, run. He ran right up the stairs into the bleachers, jumped over, fully cleared the railing of the bleachers, landed full
on the track.
Yes, landed on the track, full sprinted all the way to Goldberg while Goldberg's under center, about to snap the football. And
just jaw jacks him.
And this kid winds up nothing on his body as far as padding or equipment, punches Goldberg right in the head, who has a helmet on. He then proceeds to back up and wait for Goldberg to attack him, and he's standing there like this, fists up, pinkies up, and he was like, "Oh my mom, I'm gonna beat your," going on. And everyone was beside themselves. I forget exactly who held him back. You may know who it was.
I think it might have been Wortman.
I know it was one of the linemen, whether it was Keith or Chris. I wasn't entirely sure, but God, I mean, that was a mess. One of our former coaches got involved, tried and pulled him off the field. And I think one very interesting nugget about all of this is Ursinus's boundary corner was on a visit that day.
Which we play Ursinus tomorrow.
We are
as this player was being escorted up the hill after he got calmed down and stuff, he's walking up the hill, and this kid's sitting in the bleachers on the away side, and he says, "Don't come here, you won't like it here."
And then
that kid chose Ursinus.
Yeah, he's their starting boundary corner. He's been starting since he's a freshman. Actually, probably the second best DB in our conference.
Wow.
So from my perspective, I was given signals. I had just got back from my COVID, so I was out for 2 weeks at the time because of COVID at home. And I came back, and this is like the second day I was back. So I'm given signals. I don't think I was padded because I still had to go through like the trainer stuff. And me and Tommy were standing there giving signals, and we watched it all happen. Runs up the steps, jumps over the railing, and he's running. And me and Tommy look at each other like, should we stop him? And we're like, at that point, we had no chance. So, sorry, Goldberg, we didn't stop him.
There's another perspective as well from our trainer, Casey. And Casey said he saw the entire thing, but he in his mind was just like, oh, well, there he goes. I guess this is going to happen. And didn't do anything about it, as did some of the defensive coaches. It's just like the positioning of whoever could actually see it was nowhere near being able to get involved before. Like, I mean, that kid was fast. Like, probably the fastest kid in our team. So no one was gonna track him down and tackle him before he could get to Goldberg.
He was one of my roommates.
Yeah.
He was one of my roommates at the time. Interesting guy to live with, man. I mean, he was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I would imagine.
Always made you laugh. Always count on him rolling in about 11:30 every night. Good guy.
He was a extremely talented football player too. Like,
yeah.
Our freshman year, he started at safety and was our kick returner. He returned a touchdown against Dickinson.
He sealed a game against Ursinus freshman year.
He had a pick against Ursinus, which won the game for us, basically.
Incredible athlete. Not a big guy. Not a big guy at all. No bigger than...
So where'd he end up?
I haven't heard from him.
Last year, we had... there were some issues. I don't know if I should go fully into them.
He got in some trouble on campus.
Yeah, and with all of that, he kind of fell off the map. I haven't heard entirely what had happened to him.
Yeah, I used to talk to him a little bit, but I haven't heard from him or even seen anything on social media of him since he left campus last year. So, hope he's doing well.
Yeah,
because he's at heart, he's really a great kid and he means well, but tempers flare, man.
Yeah.
I'm just like, he just ran up and like hit him in the helmet, and then that was it.
Well, he wanted to fight.
Yeah, but did Goldberg do anything?
No, like Goldberg was
chilling.
so beside him.
He just ate it.
He just ate it.
I think that was what was... Like, everyone was just so astonished at what had happened. We had never seen anything like that.
We had seen fights at practice that have, like, just kind of went by the wayside after they finished, but nothing that really went to that extent. I mean, it went after practice, and big ordeal after practice, too, that, I mean, living with Marsan, I had to firsthand.
Yeah. Goldberg got a escort back to his room from the coaching.
Coach Dorner. Coach Dorner, state police officer.
Oh, I forgot. Coach Dorner was on the staff at the time.
Well, now that I've heard the full thing, I'm just enlightened to what Juniata football is all about. No, joking. That is not what Juniata football is all about. We're about being a good football team.
One tower.
Soar above. Attain excellence.
We just try our best to attain excellence.
We didn't soar above that day as a team.
Well, one person soared.
And we certainly weren't one tower that day.
No, we were not.
Jeez, Pete, wow.
But there's going to be those days, Chris.
Yep.
We haven't had anything crazy like that this year. The one Thursday,
that
got chippy, but that wasn't...
That was good.
That's good energy,
though.
A few cheap shots, but...
It's football. Yeah. It's going to happen, but I think it was like we got some emotion in our team, and I liked it a lot.
It sparked some energy for Saturday that week, too.
Yeah.
Came out, played well, for the most part.
Was that?
That was F&M week.
That was F&M, yeah.
Was that Muhlenberg?
It might have been Muhlenberg. Yeah, you know what? It was Muhlenberg week.
Yeah, it was Muhlenberg. The only time we ever got in fights were my sophomore year at camp. We were going against Sweeger's team, actually. Good old...
E-Town.
Yeah, good old E-Town. Their offensive line, all of their calls were just inappropriate content creators' names, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
It was hilarious. It was funny. And one of our scrawny little wide receivers decides to get into a fight with a kid that looks like a little Tekka.
What number was this kid? Oh, okay. Because I would know some of the players on that E-Town team.
E-Town, jeez. This was...
If that was your sophomore year,
that was my sophomore year.
Would have been. I knew a couple of the seniors on that team at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. And that was like the only time we got in a fight. That kid got in a fight like 2 different times, I think, during that season. And then he ended up senior year coming in. He didn't even play the first game, so he moved to Michigan to playing on a team. It was like the Predators or something. And it was like a 3-school, 1-team kind of thing.
Okay.
And he was a baller, though. Shout out Bryce Beauchamp if he's listening. Oh my, there's some funny stuff. But big day tomorrow. Senior day, is it?
Yep.
I try to say senior night, but it's not a night game.
I've been saying senior night all week.
It's 12 o'clock.
I've been saying senior night all week.
But
it's just habit.
Will both of you walk?
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think we're both coming back next year, but I think for me, I think
It's walking with your class. Like,
yeah,
your
like
guys.
that's our class. We've as a class been through a lot.
Yeah.
And
like,
for the majority, most of us have been here the whole 4 years. Like, we've lost, I don't know how many, like maybe 10 total,
Yeah.
10 to 12 total, but we had, 30 plus?
yeah, we have a really tight knit senior class, and as a class, like it's nice to be able to walk together. For me, like Jake Matchuk walking with us is. If you told me sophomore year or even last year that Matchuk would be walking with us, like I wouldn't believe you. But it's awesome to have Matchuk walking with us, and it's crazy that we're seniors and tomorrow's our day, last home game
Yeah.
Of the season.
of the season, technically.
Last home game of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be back.
A couple more next year.
Yeah.
Different conference, though.
Different conference.
Yeah.
I've been looking into that. I'm injured, so it's not like I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, got to be ready for your sinus, guys. Like, we're not playing them again. So I've been looking. We play 2 New York teams. Those are about 5-hour drives. That would be.
I could speak on the 2 New York
Yeah,
teams.
please do.
So
Is it?
Big New York guy.
it's Alfred and Hartwick.
Hartwick.
Yes.
Yep.
So one of my best friends from high school plays at Hartwick. He's their starting outside linebacker. Just tore his ACL, sadly. So I don't know if we're going to be able to play him or not. I don't know if he's coming back for a 5th year, but they're a decent team. Like, they have talent. Sometimes they just struggle to put it all together. Like, is what I get from just talking.
So
to
like
him.
us, basically.
Yeah, they're very similar to how Juniata is, and for them the Empire 8. And then Alfred's either really good or they're really bad. They're pretty inconsistent, but when Alfred's good, like, they're a good football team.
We still have Gettysburg, though. Gettysburg week 1.
Yeah. So, that's a schedule leak.
Because I've heard it's like 2 Empire 8, 2 Centennial, and then 6 Landmark, which will be our conference games.
And I think we are filling
Shenandoah.
Yes, and so but we talked about it. I feel like that adds up to 11.
No, that's 10.
That'd
Is
be
it 10?
It's 10.
So it's only 1 Centennial game.
Yes.
And then
And then
Shenandoah.
Shenandoah. And then the 2 Empire 8.
Okay.
And then the conference.
Yeah.
Because Gettysburg for me is more of a home game. If we're at Gettysburg.
Which I would imagine we will be.
Well, it's different. It's completely different.
Well, now?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, that'd be fun to play at Gettysburg though. And then Shenandoah is not too terribly far.
It's probably close to you, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like if it would have been Dickinson, Gettysburg, or even McDaniel, it would have been closer to my house than here, which would have been nice.
Yeah. Shenandoah is
So-
about 2.5 away from here, and then the New York schools, Alfred is like 3.5, and Hartwick is like 3.5 as well.
So a lot of overnights.
Yeah, those two will be
Especially in
overnights.
conference.
And then Catholic would be an overnight.
Keystone,
DC.
Wilkes.
Keystone's going to be an overnight.
They're both Scranton area.
Yeah.
That's good.
Is that
That's
far?
good 3 hours.
Yeah, no, I took a visit to Wilkes. From my house, it's about 2.5 hours straight down 81.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a fun one, but Wilkes would be cool to play. I took a visit there. Not my favorite place ever. The coach I took the visit with is an awesome coach, Coach A. I think he's our linebackers coach. He's an awesome dude.
Heard a lot about him.
The total opposite of our coach A, like literal polar opposite. But he's a cool dude. It's a cool place up there. Like when you go into Wilkes-Barre, it is a absolute dump. But once you get into like the college and stuff, it's a real nice place. But when I took my visit there second, and I knew when halfway through that visit, I'm like, I'm going to Juniata.
Yeah, I remember when you were getting recruited because I was helping with recruiting, and I remember hearing that it was between us and Wilkes, and I was like, shoot, like Wilkes can pull some good kids. Wilkes pulls a lot of Long Island guys. They have a receiver I train with on their team right now who's a freshman, so they pull in good talent.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just didn't get a good vibe from their head coach. Rolled up with pink salmon khakis. And
What?
Yeah. He spent like 10 minutes with us. Pink salmon khakis, and he asked me about like all my 40-time bench, yada, 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 yada. Well, we're bringing in 4 safeties. You're up there. We'll have to reassess after this visit. And I'm like, oh, thanks. I just wasted all my time coming here, and I don't even have a roster spot available. But and all their like athletic complexes are off the campus, so you have to like get a ride over the freaking Susquehanna to get over there. But yeah, and then Lycoming, I actually have a good friend that plays for Lycoming. He worked at the same pool me and Gunnar Lesher worked at. He's a Borough kid.
Okay.
He's one speedy mother trucker. He does a lot of kick returns and then he plays slot. But I've been talking to him a little. He isn't having the best time over there, so I've been like, hey, you want to come over here? He's like, hey, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
there's a certain somebody that, blood related on Lycoming, correct? John's brother.
John's brother does play for Lycoming.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a running back.
interesting.
He gets some time as a freshman, I think.
Yeah.
From what I've been told. Yeah, I think they're having a little rough go of it in the MAC this year.
They're
Yeah.
like 2-6.
Yeah, and they're normally
Yeah.
they're normally
I think
pretty
Wilkes
solid.
is the other way around. They're about. Wilkes is doing pretty
Delval
solid.
runs that. Delval
Yeah.
runs the MAC.
Delval's
Yeah.
overrated. Delval's overrated. I'm saying it on the podcast. They're a good football team, but
Mhm.
I don't. If you put them in the Centennial, I don't think they're better than
No.
Ursinus, Susquehanna.
But
or Hawk.
going back to the overnight thing, the only two that we won't have to overnight, I think, will be Lyco and Sus. Would be the only two that we wouldn't overnight.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
jeez.
Yeah. And
Well,
Gettysburg. If we traveled to
That's
Gettysburg.
Yeah,
but that's not in
Gettysburg.
conference.
Yeah. Yeah, but everything else, yeah.
Oh my.
Wow.
Lots of hotels. Lots of
money.
Yeah. How many?
Coach Mears, get them booked. They're watching, get them booked right now.
How many overnights are we allowed to take, or is there?
As many as it allows.
Yeah, as many as we can afford. Honestly.
Pete's. So.
If not, there'll be some early mornings leaving Huntington next year and Saturdays.
Oh, jeez. So there's a good chance half our schedule is overnights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we'll play. Basing off this year, we would play Susquehanna at home, so there knocks out one away game that wouldn't be, and then
Yeah, Moravian at home.
Moravian at home. So
That is an
we might. It depends if we go to Lyco or not. We might overnight every single away game.
Yeah. Besides Shenandoah. I think Shenandoah is away.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that might.
We would
Well,
for
it's-
2.5. We wouldn't.
We won't.
Probably not. No.
I would hope not.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's like McDaniel.
Well, isn't McDaniel like really cool to play at though?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I've
a great
heard.
time.
It's a great place
It is
to play football at.
blast. Noah you can speak way more on what they have to say over there than I can.
They like freshman year we went there. I guess we went there last year too. But freshman year, it's our second game of the year, I think. It was our first away game, I believe.
No, our sinus was.
Okay, second. So it was third
It was-
game of the year.
It was either it was the fourth.
Okay, so a second away game, and we had been to Ursinus. It's nothing. It's your average D3 football experience. But then you go to McDaniel, and it's a big bowl around the stadium. The only stands are behind each bench or behind the home bench, and the frats line up along this bowl along the fence,
Yeah.
and they just berate you the entire time. And with myself wearing the rec specs or the goggles, as I often hear from opposing defenses, I got it pretty heavy that day, as the punter as well. So
Oh wow.
And we had a kicker as well get pretty harassed our freshman year.
Ricky.
Yeah, he got
Ricky was 5'7",
260.
260.
Gatlos was talking about him.
yeah.
That was Gallows' roommate.
yeah. Great kid.
Oh, he was so funny.
Otherworldly kid, but man, the things that were said to him at McDaniel was rough.
And he just laughed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a funny looking kicker though.
Very. But
He
also
wasn't half bad
no.
when he showed up.
Yeah.
He actually had to stop playing, I think, week 6 or 7 because he dropped a class and didn't have enough credits to be an NCAA athlete.
Yeah, he did do that. We also had a coach interact with the fans at the end of the game against McDaniel
We
our
did.
freshman year.
We did.
That was
This guy from McDaniel stood along the fence the entire game, just running his mouth to our coach. And our coach, after we won, let him hear all about it.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be for the people that know what coach we're talking about. No one is surprised.
No, not at all.
So
But yeah, I'll leave that.
we'll leave it at that.
Jeez, Pete's. But isn't a Catholic kind of a homecoming for Doc?
Yeah,
Wasn't-
Doc was a Catholic before he came here, I think.
Yeah, and so was Coach Lilly as well. Coach
Mhm.
Lilly played there.
I think Doc I don't know if I'm right on this, but I think he set up their whole recruiting, like how they recruit and stuff. Like I think he was the recruiting coordinator and maybe coached some defense as well.
I would imagine, because they're becoming a good program now. Like historically, Catholic was not great in a conference that wasn't great, but now like they beat McDaniel 2 years in a row, last year and this year, for the first game. And I haven't checked on their record, but I would imagine they're probably doing well in the conference they're playing in.
So Doc would have had Lily?
Yeah, I think that's how Coach Lilly and Doc knew
each other.
Yeah.
Because Doc played at Dickinson, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very, very long time ago.
Oh,
back when they wore leather helmets. Doc, if you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
And
no face mask.
Didn't they ride on like dinosaurs to get to games? Like
no, horse and buggy. He was past the dinosaur.
Okay.
He was telling me when we were at Dickinson, telling me a story about how they used to have to feed the horses pretty well before they would be able to get to practice.
Actually, my favorite Doc story, last year I missed a class or two, and coaches got an email about it, and Doc says to me, he says, just tell them you got hit by a car. And I was like, what do you mean, Doc? He said, I had a class at Dickinson where I didn't go all year, and I told him at the end of the semester I got hit by a car, and he gave me an A.
Wow, that's impressive. Even when they didn't have cars back then, it's like, jeez, Pete.
Got steamrolled by a horse.
By a horse, oh my.
Donkey came out of nowhere, kicked Coach Doc. We talk, I think, talking a little bit about the rivalry that'll be coming up soon.
That was a good one.
I've heard about this.
Susquehanna Juniata rivalry.
The goalpost.
Play for a goalpost. It's a 6-foot trophy. It's one of the biggest trophies in college football history. I know in D3 it's up there, and I think it even goes throughout divisions. It's a big deal. Like, just traditionally, it's talked about a lot. As like it means a lot for us as a program. The history of it was, I think we played Susquehanna and beat them and upset them back in the 60s or 50s.
Yeah.
And throughout that winning celebration, they ripped the goalpost down.
At Susquehanna and brought it back to Juniata.
Yes.
So
like some Tennessee stuff?
So
like,
the trophy is a piece of that goalpost.
That's cool, actually.
Yeah. It's awesome. So it's the closest game as far as travel for us. I mean, Susquehanna and Juniata are essentially the same institutions as far as academics, the setup, the town. It athletically is where you really get the competition, and it's great. It goes throughout all of our sports. Women's volleyball just beat them in the semis on Wednesday, which was love to see it. Absolutely love to see it.
It's always cool when another program beats Susquehanna.
Oh yeah, and the last time we beat Susquehanna was actually doing pretty well for themselves, and Juniata was 0-9 at the time.
I think Susquehanna was 9-0.
I think they were
8-1 or 9-0.
And
interesting.
They absolutely ruined Susquehanna's season.
I think they won like 10-7 or something like that on like a walk-off field goal.
Yeah, I mean that's just one of those games. Everyone says doesn't matter.
Throw the records out.
Yeah, throw the records out. Doesn't matter who's playing. It's Juniata, Susquehanna. Anything can happen.
So we may have to see history rewrite itself.
Maybe, well, or make it 1-8 this time, going against 9-0, and then we'll finish 2-8.
There we go. Get
be
some
good.
positive.
I was gonna say, be a good send off for our class and to build off of for next year for the guys coming back.
Yeah, I'm just pumped and wired already. I'm tired of sitting. I've been sitting around for 6 weeks now. I'm
How's it feeling?
I'm feeling good. Shoot, I have 2 more weeks of PT after this.
Okay.
And then Thanksgiving break, I go back to the doctor, and hopefully we'll be cleared by then. Be ready for winter lifts and spring ball.
Love it.
It's good. Yeah. It's good for you to learn though in this time, like to get up to speed with the playbook and stuff. Being a freshman, I know you've talked about on some of your other episodes. That's the hardest part of it all.
Yeah.
And I mean, you get to really use this time to learn and grow it mentally as a football player.
And then, spring ball, I can build on that. And then next year when I come into day 1 of camp, I, know about everything and can just play football.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest thing. And we had a SAC meeting last night, and we were talking about a lot of legislation come through the NCAA. And they were talking about, practice times and stuff. And, it didn't apply to football at all because, we can't do some of the stuff. But essentially they asked us like our opinion, and it's like we don't need practice to be physically ready, right? Like we have all summer to work on being physically ready.
Yeah.
Like we don't really hit, so like physically we don't really need practice. It is mentally. Like
I think that's a good point, because the summer is when you make your strides on other people, and I could say for myself, coming in this fall, I felt as good as I felt in my 4 years coming in, physically and mentally, and I mean it's paid off. I mean, I won a starting job, and I've gone with that, and I've been a much better mentally strong football player than I have been in the past. Chris can vouch for this. Last year, when I would come in for the Wildcat, I would always run my mouth. Always. Like, there was never a play that I wasn't at the bottom of the pile talking trash, I guess would be the correct word for all 22.
Very enjoyable.
This year I learned that that's not worth it. It's all about the mental game, man.
You got to save it for the receivers that talk trash.
Receivers are always...
Receivers might have the best celebrations in the Centennial.
Yes. I agree with that.
Juju
just coordinates it so well.
Yeah. He plans it out every Monday for what he's going to do on Saturday if he scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, too. Especially the one against Dickinson.
He got in trouble.
He can get a flag. So
Well, he was informed. If he did it again, he's getting a flag.
Dang it.
But you know what? We like to push the limits a little bit.
He practiced that in our room, him and JT, a lot.
It was a great celebration too, and we had a lot of energy going towards it.
That was awesome. That was that energy that we had after that first drive at Dickinson, like
that might have been the most energy I've felt in a football game here in my 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, just like for us as seniors, the meaning behind it, and like, the statement that was made that I can't say on this podcast, but the statement that was made after that drive, like for us, was just it was great.
Yeah,
I would love if we can have that attitude throughout the entire team on a Saturday, like
for the entire game,
for 4 quarters.
I really believe
we wouldn't lose a game.
There's no way. I believe we have enough talent that with that attitude we can do what we like to do.
Sadly, I didn't have the camera. Coach Mears didn't get it to me, and he sent me back in like right before the game during like the anthem and stuff. And I'm not very good when you tell me to go find something like in a supermarket or something. Go find it. So he's like, okay, in the locker room, in the one back room is where the duffel bag is. Coach, there's 50 duffel bags in that room. What do you want me to do? So I sadly came back out with no camera, but he was fine with it, and I got it for the second half. But usually anytime I'm with the camera, like I try to do my best, but when there's a big play, you can hardly see the film because I'm running up and down and like just jumping and screaming. So I do my best with the camera, but
it's great to see on film, like you running up and down the sideline when a play is made. Like you could see
not only Shank but Coach Carter, man.
Yeah.
If you watch like a deep pass or like a big run, Coach Carter is even with the ball the entire way.
Signaling with him this weekend, like when you threw Swieger that deep ball, like I was looking up in the air. I looked to my left, and Carter's like basically right next to where the ball's landing. I was like, how'd he get there?
He still got it in him, man.
Yeah, he does.
He's been saying all week he could house one of my punts. So
he has been returning punts, and your punts suck. So like,
my punting talent has fallen off tremendously since I got here.
We have wide Buell.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to work out wise. Getting the upper body ready more than the lower body. Just
I got little chicken legs.
Yeah.
Coach Doc says I'm astronomically average as a punter.
Oh wow, jeez.
You know what?
Me and Doc have some good times.
Yeah.
Pre-practice specialists.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for hopping on again. Very much appreciate it.
I appreciate you having us.
Fun stuff. We will be back hopefully soon. I can get Mr. Matchock on.
Oh.
He has some stories from UMPC Altoona.
I would imagine, yeah.
So hopefully we can get him on. Get a dub tomorrow. Let's go.
Big dubs.
Let's go. All right. Tip of the spear.
Always sharp.
Meow, meow. Meow, meow, meow. Ooh.